Have you ever wondered how much unnecessary weight you carry around with you? Goals imposed by society, relationships that keep you stuck, and the constant chase for other people's approval. We get trapped in expectations, comparisons, and endless noise. But what if you could let it all go? In this piece, I am going to share with you 15 keys to change your life. It is not a complicated process. It asks about letting go of the unnecessary and getting back to yourself. 1. Close unnecessary cycles. Why do we cling to things that are no longer useful? It could be an outdated relationship, lost goals, or habits that are debilitating. We fear the unknown and cling to what gives the illusion of stability. The Stoics argued that wisdom lies in the ability to let go of the unnecessary. By closing old cycles, we create space for the new. The philosopher Epictetus said, "What belongs to the past is already beyond your control. Stop wasting time on things that no longer matter." 2. Manage your time on social media. How much time do you spend on social media? Endlessly scrolling through posts steals hours that could be devoted to something more meaningful. Social media often takes us away from our true goals, creating a false sense of business. The Stoics reminded us of the value of time. Seneca argued, "The problem is not that we have little time, but that we waste it." Control your time. It is one of your most valuable resources. Imagine that at the end of the day you analyze how much time you spent on social media. Do you feel satisfied with it? By limiting your time on the internet, you can devote it to what is really important: learning, creating, or just relaxing. 3. Let go of relationships that hurt. Have you ever wondered why you continue to stay in relationships that bring pain and disappointment? It can be difficult to let go of a friend, partner, or even a family member because of emotional attachment. However, these connections can be a source of constant stress and negativity. The Stoics taught that real strength lies in the ability to part with what is no longer useful, even if it hurts. Marcus Aurelius said, "Decide not to experience pain and you won't experience pain." This is not a call to avoid difficulty, but a reminder that relationships are meant to sustain us, not drain us. If you stay in a toxic relationship hoping for change, it only prolongs the suffering. Imagine maintaining a friendship in which you are constantly belittled or unappreciated. Ask yourself this question: is it really worth putting up with something that brings pain? Letting go is hard, but it is an act of self-care. It creates space for people who support and appreciate you. 4. Adjust your expectations. Have you ever felt disappointed because something didn't go the way you expected? It happens to everyone. We often create idealized images of how things should unfold, and when reality doesn't match them, disappointment ensues. The Stoics believed that the cause of much suffering was unrealistic expectations. Epictetus said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our ideas about them." The problem is not the situations themselves, but how we perceive them. If you learn to accept reality as it is, you can reduce frustration. Imagine starting a new project with the expectation that everything will go smoothly. When problems arise, you get stressed. But what if you view difficulties as part of the journey? This will help you deal with them more calmly. Think about it. What expectations are creating unnecessary suffering in your life? By correcting them, you'll be able to enjoy the present. 5. Stop measuring your life by other people's standards. Have you ever happened to feel like a failure when comparing your accomplishments to the successes of others? In the world of social media, this has become an everyday occurrence. We see perfect pictures of others' lives and begin to doubt our own worthiness. The Stoics taught to focus on what is within our grasp. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't be distracted by what others do or don't do." You need only focus on managing your life with wisdom. Comparing ourselves to others distracts us from our own goals. Everyone has their own path, their own circumstances that aren't always visible. Instead of envy or feelings of failure, focus on what you've already accomplished. Imagine your friend gets a promotion and you immediately start to feel less successful. Ask yourself, why should someone else's success determine my worth? When you stop comparing yourself to others, you take back control of your inner world. Your life is unique, and true success lies in following your own path. Give up goals imposed by others. Have you ever wondered if you're pursuing goals that are truly important to you or just following other people's expectations? Societal pressures, family expectations, or advice from friends often push us in a direction that is not internally satisfying. In trying to conform to standards, we risk losing ourselves and forgetting what we really want. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is in tune with our nature. Epictetus said, "Take care to be the best version of yourself, not what others want you to be." This wisdom reminds us that our true goals should come from within, not be dictated by the expectations of others. When you follow other people's standards, you lose touch with yourself. Chasing externally imposed recognition and success can lead to inner emptiness. For example, imagine you chose a prestigious career because your parents wanted you to. Despite your external successes, you feel empty and unhappy. Ask yourself, is this goal really mine or is it imposed from the outside? Only by realizing your true desires will you be able to direct your life in the right direction. Avoid idle talk. Have you ever happened to be drawn into conversations that leave you feeling exhausted? Gossip, negative discussions, or constant complaining create an atmosphere that drains your energy and pollutes your inner world. The Stoics emphasized the importance of our surroundings and the words we hear and speak. Marcus Aurelius said, "Life is shaped by the conversations we engage in. Our thoughts and emotions are influenced by what we allow into our consciousness." By avoiding idle conversations, you protect yourself from unnecessary stress and keep your mind clear. Instead of wasting time on useless discussions, surround yourself with people who inspire, support, and help you grow. Imagine that you refuse to participate in negative conversations and began to notice your thoughts becoming clearer and your emotions calmer. The more meaningful conversations you have in your life, the easier it is to find inner harmony. Pause before reacting. How many times have you regretted something you said in a burst of emotion? Anger, frustration, or stress often cause us to react impulsively, which often posed by others. An honest answer to this question will help you free yourself from unnecessary burdens. Also assess your environment. Do relationships with loved ones nourish you or drain you? Manage your connections, avoid unnecessary conversations, and strive to live a life that reflects your true values. By freeing yourself from other people's expectations, empty conversations, and impulsive reactions, you find inner peace and clarity of thought. This will help you become the best version of yourself and move toward a life of meaning and joy. Learn to let go and let things take their course. Have you ever wondered how often the desire to control every aspect of your life leads to frustration? We plan, we try to anticipate every detail, but the world is full of unpredictability. Trying to manage everything only increases stress and anxiety, creating a sense of helplessness when circumstances get out of control. The Stoics taught us to accept what is beyond our control. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." This simple understanding gives an amazing sense of freedom. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, It means learning to adapt while maintaining inner peace. Imagine that an important project at work isn't going as planned despite your best efforts. Ask yourself, what would I gain if I stopped fighting for total control and let the situation unfold naturally? The answer will come with the realization that control is limited and flexibility helps you find new solutions. Stop chasing perfection. Do you sometimes feel like everything you do has to be flawless? In a world where perfection is constantly being held up as the standard, it's easy to fall into the trap of endlessly striving for perfection. However, the Stoics reminded us, the pursuit of perfection is an illusion that only intensifies the inner struggle. Seneca said, "Don't linger in the search for perfection. Live as you can now. Life is a process, not a final destination. Mistakes are inevitable, and they are what help us grow." Obsession with perfection often leads to procrastination and fear of starting a new endeavor. Imagine you putting off launching your project because it has not yet perfected. Ask yourself, am I halting my progress because of fear that the outcome won't be perfect? By accepting imperfection as a natural part of life, you'll be able to move forward, improving every step of the way. Live with less, enjoy more. Have you ever noticed that having more stuff doesn't bring true happiness? The modern world constantly insinuates that the more we have, the happier we will be. But this is an illusion that leads to the constant pursuit of material possessions. Seneca said, "Rich is not he who has much, but he who needs little." True contentment comes not from the outside world, but from the ability to appreciate what we already have. Material things are only temporary sources of pleasure that often distract from the truly important aspects of life. Imagine your house is filled with unnecessary things. Ask yourself, do I really need all this stuff? By clearing your space of unnecessary things, you will not only create physical order, but you will also gain emotional freedom. It's important to focus on the things that bring you joy, whether it's relationships, creativity, or just moments of silence. Think about how many times you have hoped to find happiness through the possession of something new and been disappointed. Living with less opens the way to inner peace, freedom, and joy, allowing you to appreciate the present and be in harmony with yourself. Release your need for approval. Have you ever felt that your decisions depend on the opinions of those around you? It's a common problem. We seek approval from friends, family, co-workers, and even strangers. However, a life built on the quest for recognition leads us away from our true desires and authentic selves. The Stoics reminded us that we cannot control other people's opinions, but we can control our own actions and attitudes. Epictetus said, "If you want to become a better person, be prepared to be considered ignorant or strange in the eyes of others." In other words, true freedom begins where dependence on other people's approval ends. The constant quest for recognition causes us to make decisions that go against our own values just to conform to expectations. As a result, we lose our authenticity and our sense of inner harmony. Imagine you have an important decision to make, but you hesitate for fear of negative reactions from others. Ask yourself, am I doing this for myself or for the approval of others? By letting go of the need to please, you will begin to live in alignment with your desires and values. Freedom from external validation reduces anxiety and gives you space for true fulfillment. Think about how many times you've changed your plans because of fear of judgment. Freeing yourself from this burden will allow you to be true to yourself and follow your own path. Manage personal relationships carefully. Relationships play a key role in our well-being. The people around us can both support us and destroy our sanity. Therefore, it is important to be conscious about choosing your close environment. The Stoics valued friendship, but warned against careless choice of friends. Seneca wrote, "Choose your friends wisely, for they affect your life more than you realize." This is a reminder that not every connection is helpful or healthy, and you need to guard your emotional state from destructive relationships. Some people help us grow, support us through difficult times, and inspire us to grow. Others drain us, involve us in conflict, or bring negativity into our lives. Imagine being surrounded by people who constantly criticize or engage in behaviors that are contrary to your values. Ask yourself, are these relationships contributing to my growth or pulling me back? By managing your connections consciously, you create space for positive and supportive relationships. It asks not the quantity of contacts that matters, it asks the quality of those contacts. Think about how many of your connections are truly bringing joy and growth, and which ones are getting in the way of feeling happy. Learn to choose who you share your energy with, and be aware of your surroundings to protect your inner peace. Keep it personal within yourself. In today's world, where the habit of sharing every moment of your life on social media has become the norm, it is worth considering. Do you really need to reveal every aspect of your life? There is intrinsic value in keeping some thoughts and feelings private. It asks not about hiding. It asks about protecting your inner world. The Stoics emphasized the importance of restraint. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes stronger when it keeps its own in secret." Excessive openness leaves us vulnerable to criticism and misunderstandings. By maintaining personal space, we can reflect and grow without outside influence. Think about how often you share things that are important to you, only to regret it later. Personal space is not isolation, but an opportunity to preserve your true self. Not every event requires public discussion. Ask yourself this question: am I sharing this to gain approval or because I really need it? Protect your private self to keep your inner peace. Avoid backbiting for no reason. How often are we tempted to talk about someone in a negative way? Backbiting may seem harmless, but it actually destroys not only our relationships with others, but also our inner world. The Stoics believed that every word should carry constructive power. When we discuss others with judgment, we pollute our own thoughts and become less tolerant. Backbiting fuels negativity, creates conflict, and destroys trust. It is important to realize the consequences of your words and use them for good. Imagine you find yourself in a company where someone is discussing an absent person in a negative way. Ask yourself, would it bring something positive if I joined the conversation? Choosing to remain silent or change the subject can be a show of strength and self-control. By avoiding backbiting, you create an atmosphere of respect and understanding, improve the quality of your relationships, and strengthen your spirit. Use your words as an instrument of creation, not destruction. Let them serve goodness and harmony, making the world around you a better place. Subscribe and like.